It's time for all your binge-worthy pop culture news. Welcome to Up and Adam.
Hey, guys. Welcome back and happy Monday. All right, guys. Well, I hope everybody had an amazing weekend. Jason and I were all over the place, but we were filling these cameo orders like crazy. You guys definitely kept us busy. So thank you so much for supporting an amazing cause. If you haven't heard me say it already, I posted it in my community tab. I've officially joined Cameo. They're $15 a piece, and 100% of your donations to our Cameo are going back to Be Strong, where they give 100% in efforts to help support Ukraine. Bethany Frankel has raised over $25 million, which has been absolutely incredible. So thank you to all of you for supporting an amazing cause. Now, in the meantime, guys, we have over 100 people in the room. So go ahead, smash that like button. What a way to kick us off. We have Jason here to recap the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City reunion, season 2, part 2. And we have to get into it. But also, I pinned at the top of the live chat that we are going live right after this at 12:15 with Tisa Tells, who we love, to talk about the premiere of Kandi and the Gang. With that, don't forget to hit that like button, and let's welcome Jason. Good morning.
Good morning. Wow, Kandi and the Gang was pretty good.
Oh my gosh, it was so good. Don't get me started because I have to save it all.
I know. I just have to say, what was the manager's name? Philip, the director of operations. Fantastic. I mean, listen, just from being in that position, working for a housewife, managing a couple of restaurants for her, I understand where he's coming from. And you really got to crack the whip sometimes.
You have to crack the whip. And he was doing a damn good job of it. Let's say hi to everybody in the room. Cubby said, does anyone know the deal with Adam's morning show? Is it still going to be Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 10:30 a.m. Eastern again or not? It was at 9:30 a.m. Eastern. However, Cubby, as of right now through March and April, because we're so busy getting ready for the tour and promoting the tour on other platforms, different podcasts, Jason has me booked and busy like a mother. And I might even be going out of town in the next few weeks. And we have tons of family coming in town. So it's just a lot going on. In the meantime, we're going to do live recaps and pre-records. But don't worry, we will be back. Okay?
Yeah. I mean, listen, I think we're working in that tour from like 8 a.m. in the morning after we go to the gym and start our day until 9 or 10 at night or whenever a show comes on that we have to watch. So it's kind of crazy.
I mean, honestly,
I feel like this tour is going to be here tomorrow.
We want it to be an experience too, though. We don't want a mediocre tour. We want to leave all 3 cities with everyone really feeling like they got their money's worth, that they had an experience, they met incredible people, they got to see amazing talent on stage, and that Zach and I didn't disappoint. I mean, I'm not worried about me, but no, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. All right, Rosemary, thank you. 130 watching with 60 likes. Let's hit that like button. Jason, if you had to rate last night's episode, the part 2 of the reunion for Salt Lake City, a 1 to 10, which we had some really cringy moments, what would you give it? And guys in the live chat, please come through.
I'm going to give it an 8.5.
Really?
Yeah, I'm going to give it an 8.5. And I'm saying that just because I'm always, when it comes to Salt Lake, whether it's just the season or the reunions, I'm always left for, I don't know what I'm going to get, so I'll give it an 8.5. I'm going to give it an 8.5. There was lots in the mix here. There was kind of the gang up on Lisa again, but then we saw Lisa get herself in trouble. She's cornered because kind of what she has kind of put in order. Meredith was going off. I mean, bad weather. Let's talk about Heather. Every time Heather had something to say, she looked at Whitney for validation. So we know they're like a team that's never going to separate. Jennie Nguyen still don't know why she's there at all. And lots of unanswered questions again from Mary Cosby. We spent half the reunion talking about Mary Cosby, but she wasn't there to defend herself. But Adam, that was her choice.
And I saw where a lot of people on social media, by the way, if I had to get bit, I'm kind of with Celia here a little bit.
Okay.
Celia said a 6.5 for me, and the Heather said 5.2, too much over talking, which kind of gave me Miami reunion vibes. But, for this whole situation for Mary, I understand where a lot of people were pissed off yesterday. I saw social media, I saw the Twitter rants, and people were like, you should not talk about Mary if she's not there. However, that's
her choice, friend. If she doesn't want to be there to defend herself, like I saw those two, and I understand that. And I understand why she didn't want to come, but then she's gotta, you leave such a big question mark, and that has to be discussed at the reunion. So I think she really did herself a disservice here, because you had And I'm sorry to interrupt here. You had, one person saying her church is a cult. You had Whitney calling her a predator. That's what she heard, from Cameron. She's not there to defend herself, but that is kind of on her at this point.
And, also, you filmed an entire season. Like Nicole James from Orange County, she quit after 5 episodes. But for her to think that she's not going to be mentioned at the reunion would be absolutely asinine. There's no way. You signed a contract. Unfortunately, and I agree, I don't like some of the things that they're saying about Mary with her not there to defend herself. But Mary knew that they were going to talk about her. She was going to be a topic of conversation. She was a big part of this season. And that's why Andy Cohen tried talking her into coming. He said, listen, you don't want any of these women to control your narrative. And we're watching, and this just got cringe. But, getting back to it, we know, let's just kind of kick off how this whole thing went down. Whitney is suspecting that Mary had an alleged affair with Cameron. Now, there's been a lot of talk about Cameron. I even had in the past some of Mary's family members send me audio clips of Cameron, conversations of the two of them, text conversations. Who knows what's real and what's not? I never felt like it was right to put it out on my platform because he's no longer with us. And, I have a ton of love and respect towards his family because it can't be easy to lose somebody, especially due to cancer. So I'm sending all the positive vibes over there. But for Whitney, she really feels like this man had an affair with Mary. And I heard about this affair in December of 2021. I heard about this affair.
Yeah, the thing about this, though, is they're calling it an affair. And then Whitney goes on to claim that it might have been something what happened when he was younger, that he was kind of, pushed into doing, which made it seem a little weird, so I'm not sure what she was really trying to say, but you did see Whitney kind of bow her head down, like maybe I shouldn't have said that right after she said that, because is that the reason she thinks that Mary was a predator?
Right.
I don't know. It was just very strange, and I didn't know what she was trying to imply. So
to be fair, I mean, Mary's own parents think that she was groomed at a young age for her marriage. So I don't know. Again, this is a hard topic, but one thing that I do want to talk about is when I post the thumbnails, I always tag them on Instagram. I tag all of the housewives in them. Like last night, Jen Shah saw, Heather Gay, Whitney Rose, Meredith Marks, Lisa Barlow. They all saw it. And Lisa Barlow reacted to my thumbnail being sorry, not sorry, with like kind of a wow emoji face. And I was like, yeah, girl, we love you. And thanks for the Vita Tequila, but we've got to talk about it. There were a few moments where Lisa is getting kind of caught in some situations where she said something that she had to kind of take back. One of those things would be the fact that Cameron allegedly took out $300,000 on his home for a mortgage in order to give back to the church. Now we're hearing that it was about 10% of that. Meredith Marks was not letting up while also pleading her case throughout the entire reunion, which Andy Cohen caught on to halfway through. But she did call Lisa out and say, Lisa, we had a conversation and you told me that was simply not true. And she's like, hold on, wait a minute. Everyone's coming for me. This is what happened. I might have got the information wrong. Either it was a $300,000 home or he took out 300. I don't know. But the point is he took out a mortgage. But
it did seem like she, yes. And that was a conversation that was off camera, which Andy Cohen pointed off. Wow, you're having a lot of conversations off camera, which is a big no-no in the Housewives world. But yeah, that wasn't the only thing that it was being questioned. Meredith said that she heard it was only 10% of that. I guess that was clarified by Mary also through Meredith or something like that. And then also that he was a board member of the Utah Foster Care Board, which also was not true. But then something was posted on Twitter last night. I don't know. It just seems like maybe Lisa might be spinning a few things here and trying to. We saw her produce a lot in the first season. We watched her try to produce a little bit this season, and I think it's just backfiring right now.
What did you think when Andy was like, you seem to be having a lot of conversations off camera, which is a big no-no, like you said, and that's something that's pissing him off. You can tell because he's thinking in his head, this is your job. You were contractually obligated to have these important conversations on camera. why are you having these conversations specifically off camera? And she goes, no, wait, there were two. There were only two conversations that we had off camera. And he's still looking at her like, okay, well, plead your case. And when she was talking about him being on the board, all of the women had already done their homework and they're like, that's simply not true. He wasn't on the board. And then, of course, bad weather, they're ganging up and they're like, Lisa, let's call it what it was. You invited him there, had him mic'd. He wasn't mic'd. You had him around a boom mic and you wanted him to spill something about Mary. That way Meredith would run with it and that she would go and do your dirty work for you. That way you could look and be like, my hands aren't dirty. And that she was going to kind of take this one the long route.
Which Whitney does blame Lisa doing to her quite often.
Right.
So I just felt like, you know, as cringy as I feel like ganging up on Lisa is also maybe, I don't know. It didn't look good for Lisa. Let's just say that.
I liked when Jen Shah, when we started off with the whole, I like Jen Shah as controversial as it is. And she's like, stop talking about Jen Shah like it's controversial. Like, stop adding a disclaimer to Jen Shah, okay? And like, she does like the head bobbing and she's like, you got that? And I'm like, it's right,
so funny because I saw a lot of comments too, even in the live chat that, you know, Jen was very quiet last night. And I feel like we will get that with the next part of the reunion. I think we're going to get a lot of Jen talking.
She's waiting for this moment.
I think we're all waiting for that moment,
yes.
If I'm not mistaken. Sorry, where were we?
Oh, the disclaimer.
The disclaimer. Yeah, that was funny. And the other thing that was a little cringy about last night is I'm really tired of talking about Meredith's dad's memorial, because to me, it didn't really matter if she was having the memorial Monday or Tuesday, where she was Monday or Tuesday. You know, memorials can last a little longer. Grief and pain, that stuff lasts long. I mean, it doesn't matter. I don't think, you know, Lisa calling and saying which day the memorial was, or, you know, you said you were at the memorial, or who cares at this point? I mean, she's just grieving. It doesn't matter. So like Lisa could be like, I'm sorry for bothering you because, I don't know, your dad was just, you know, remembered yesterday. I don't know why we're still talking about that. And the importance of it is just kind of null for me.
Yeah, it's a little lost on me too, especially because the point is she lost her father. She's grieving someone, and you still on the same vacation that you know that she just lost her father like a couple weeks before, you're still having your hot mic moment, which was really cringy, even though she apologized for it. And we all have moments of weaknesses. You know, we will revisit this in a second, but I did also want to add in, you know, Real Housewives of Miami, we were talking about this and we were really applauding the fact that there were no commercials, but instead there were moments where the women were walking back to their respective trailers and they were continuing the conversation with their glam squads and their spouses, boyfriends, whatever. In this episode, you see where Meredith actually apologizes to Jen and she's like, listen, I owe you an apology. I was not in the right frame of mind. You know, I had a lot going on with my family, with my sister. We weren't in a good place. I'm, you know, grieving my father, and it was too much. So I apologize. I apologize to you. And when Jen took that back to Coach Shah and she said, honestly, I was really shocked. She apologized, and it kind of makes me relate a little bit because I was in that same place last year when I lost my father. I was like, we're making strides here. Okay, we're making strides. We're moving in the right direction.
We never thought the Meredith Jen Shah situation would come to some sort of conclusion. Thank God we're still not talking about Brooks Marks and Twitter. You know what I mean?
I mean, listen.
Thank God.
Tinsley's opinions had it right. These glam squads have all the tea, I'm sure.
100. That's who we need to interview, Adam.
Yes.
We need all of the glam.
I agree. All right, so getting back to it now, there was one cast member in particular that I know you guys don't want to talk about, and I'm sorry, but she is still a part of the show and part of this reunion, Jennie Nguyen.
Oh,
Andy
Lord.
wants to know why Jennie didn't defend Lisa throughout the season if she is Lisa's friend and the reason that she was brought into the group. Jennie makes it clear that she did stand up for Lisa, and Andy also wants to know why Lisa pinned the whole Mary saga on Whitney. Lisa begins her very long-winded explanation, and Andy wonders why Lisa would have all of these important conversations, again, off camera, but also without her friend defending her. Jennie Nguyen was sitting there like, I did defend her. But then we get that very real moment in the Sprinter van where Heather and Whitney are just telling Jennie, be careful. You haven't been on the receiving end of Lisa Barlow yet. You have no idea. And Jennie just sat there very quiet, kind of taking it in. But
I
what
mean,
else
we,
is
we
she
saw
supposed
her.
to do?
We saw her even when the police and Homeland Security showed up for Jen Shah. Jennie was just like kind of not there. You know what I mean? She like didn't care. She's like, let's go. You know, like she doesn't really. I just think she just doesn't really. I don't know. I don't even know what the point of her at the reunion is right now. Like, there's no questions for her to answer. There's no, besides like Carlin. By the way, I do have to say, I love seeing the kids in the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. All of them. I think they're phenomenal. I love seeing Jack and Henry, Brooks, Chloe, Jennie's kids at times, Heather's kids, Whitney's kids. I think that is really kind of their special sauce. It's not the husbands. And I don't want to see any more husbands try to like get together as we saw this season.
It's not authentic.
It's not authentic. It's not Jersey. But what people don't have are like really the kids. I mean, some of the kids are close. I don't know. I would like to see more of the kids.
Their parents, which
season
makes
3.
it fun.
Yeah, exactly.
Like the kids might not be close to each other, but they're close to their parents, and that makes it more of a fun, feel-good energy as opposed to
it's a fun dynamic
of this season. All right. Well, again, getting back to Mary, and I'm sorry, Mary, but Mary's name comes up again and again, and Mary
was a Real Housewife of Salt Lake City of season 2. So her name is going to come up. So people saying that you shouldn't talk about Mary because she's not there, that is on her. Again, she contractually should have been there. And I would have loved to see her defend herself because I think she was ready to slay those girls.
I mean, I think she would have came in. She would have done an amazing job. And she's so good at reading people up and down. But Andy went around the room and asked how many people have received a mean text message from Mary, and they all raised their hand except for Jennie Nguyen, and Heather kind of laughed it off saying that's because she said everything to you in person. But we see Whitney reading off her text messages and she's like, little girl, you need to go get some more Botox and some plastic surgery and you're nasty, and only, like I've never had plastic surgery like you, and you need to get your shit together, and like went on this whole rampage. And then Meredith proceeded to give us,
as pastors do,
give us an example of a moment where Mary went in on her, which I thought rightfully so. This moment was where Mary was upset with Meredith because nobody came to check on her after the glass was thrown. Now, it's not necessarily totally true because Seth did go check on her. But if you think about it, she's not on a cast with Seth. She's on a cast with all of these women. There was just glass thrown in her direction. Everyone's applauding Jennie like she just did something amazing. And it's kind of a shitty move. I mean, I'm not saying it's shitty on Meredith, but I'm saying in general,
Meredith didn't throw the glass, but Meredith was also in a conversation. Whether it was being filmed or not, we don't know. So I don't know if that, was the appropriate time to get up. I'm not just playing devil's advocate,
Right. But he did decide to point that out. And, this is a great point too. Harriet Sand, thank you so much. I'm glad they showed the video of Heather siding with Lisa against Meredith. She's an undercover pot stirrer. That, Heather, we love you.
1,000%.
We love you. That was some pot stirring shit.
Yes.
It was some pot stirring shit.
Yes,
for sure.
But I mean, I feel like bad weather has some like meteorology meetings or something where they're like, okay, how are we going to storm this? You know what I mean? I feel like just everything Heather said last night, there was a look of validation to Whitney, or like, right? Right. Yeah. And I'm like, what is going on with you two? Like, I know you guys are cousins and you're like a little team, but I want to see a little more individualism between Heather and Whitney.
I agree. Now, what did you think about, let me go ahead and drop this really quick. What did you think about the fact, like when Lisa is coming out with the receipts and she brings up the text messages, and I love that Whitney was calling it out saying, no, show us your phone. And those text messages could be from anyone. Show us your actual phone, because people
even on your phone, you can change that.
Yes, exactly. So it doesn't take a rocket scientist, especially not somebody who has a multi-million-dollar brand. I mean, Lisa Buffett Barlow, she's good. She's good. And I respect the hell out of Lisa. So
she has some good IT people, I'm sure.
Yes. Now, she was going through the text messages, or letting Andy go through them. And in the text messages, Cameron is claiming that he doesn't talk to Whitney. He doesn't know why she's reaching out. He said, listen, your friend Angie is trying to connect me with her friend Whitney. What are your thoughts about this? And, just saying, I don't really want to tell her anything, and I don't want to talk too much about Mary. But Whitney, on the other end, is saying that she got a lot of information from Cameron, and Lisa's trying to cut her off. And she's like, stop talking about Cameron. And Whitney's like, let me speak. And Andy's like, I want her to speak. And I was like, oh, shit. Okay, here we go.
Yeah, that was an interesting moment. I find it interesting that, Whitney was blaming Heather for kind of setting the whole Cameron thing up, but at the same time reaching out to Cameron to use something, for the show as well, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's exactly what it felt like.
It was strange. Hey, listen, you know what I have to say about bringing props to reunions? If you haven't had a tutorial by Monique Samuels, I don't know if the portfolios, the big poster cards like Wendy Osefo brought, it just doesn't work. Just come with just come
Binder.
ready to, no binders.
Color
No binders.
coded.
It's been done. That was organized.
Yes. If you're going to come with it, you better listen. Monique sat there with her assistants the night before or 2 days before, and they color coded all of her points and made sure. She's like, hold on. Pulls out the pink tab. She's like, this one's for you, bitch.
Yeah, I don't think this is working in Lisa's favor at the moment.
No. Norma said Whitney is a sniper from the side. I mean, she could be, but and also over talking is so annoying and rude. Yeah, last night it did get a little annoying, but there was another point that was made last night where it kind of felt like keep your friends close, keep your enemies closer. And Jen Shah believes that Lisa and Meredith's relationship has a whole lot of tension, which I don't think she's wrong. Lisa claims that she was never hurt by Meredith's relationship with Mary, but everyone is calling bullshit. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, I don't know, because, my thoughts were, it's interesting watching Jen and Meredith kind of have a resolution when that's all Lisa was trying to do at the very beginning of this season. And I really didn't understand why Lisa was trying to get Meredith. And I feel like everything has just gone backwards for Lisa.
Right.
If that makes sense.
It kind of seems like she's getting caught in a lot of shit.
Yeah.
Like, she's swearing the dynamics are all by accident.
Yeah. I don't know about that.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know.
Gerson Pierce said Lisa's bipolar. I don't think she's bipolar. I don't think she's bipolar at all. But, there were a lot of moments where she was caught and it looked like she could have potentially been lying. I mean, it's hard when you start racking up like the caterer, bringing in Cameron, the hot mic moment, talking about Jen Shah's fashion guy who there was the whole audio rant for, like revealing the $300,000 mortgage, talking about her father's memorial. When you start bringing the guest list of Fresh Wolf, when you start bringing all of this in, it makes it look like, who's really telling the truth here? Guys, by the way, 500 in the room, smash that like button and show some love. I want to talk about this next moment where Meredith, she is sitting there, talking to Lisa, and this was on their girls trip when Lisa had the hot mic rant, okay? And if you want to call it a hot mic rant, you can call it whatever you want. But this is where Lisa had the rant. And Meredith said, I feel pretty much like you haven't always been there for me. And when Lisa's like, well, I feel like you haven't been there for me. She's like, that's starting to piss me off and getting annoying. And Lisa gets up and storms away from the table. She runs upstairs. She said that she felt like nobody was listening to her, even though we saw a production cast member in the room. She said she was just talking to herself, and she didn't know that any of this would be caught on tape. All of the women are completely disagreeing with her, saying that is bullshit. We know that you were being recorded. And what do you have to say for yourself? And Meredith said, I find it completely incomprehensible that there is anything that you or I could have done to each other after 10 years of a friendship, calling each other sisters, having our families vacation together. And this is how you're going to talk about me and my family? You're going to call me all of these names? I have it right here, Andy. Andy's like, actually, let me read it. And he reads it. And when I thought it was done, it wasn't done. It kept going. And then I thought it was still done. Nope, not done. And then finally ended off with you effing garbage, WHORE. And I was like, ugh.
I mean, really, this was what? Wait, hold on. What did Whitney call it? That she feels like she had a truth something, not a truth bomb. What was that? What did she say? I wrote it. I don't know. Anyway, it was. I really think she might have had one too. I mean, this wasn't a great moment for Lisa. This wasn't a great moment for a Mormon or a proclaimed Mormon, because she wasn't feeling the spirit when she was saying this stuff. But when Andy was reading it back and he was just like reiterating those words, I was like, "Oh God, this is really bad." But I do have to agree with Bad Weather a little bit here. This is and I love Bad Weather. I love all of these ladies, by the way. But when they say, you're mic'd, You know there's a boom in the room. You know there's a producer in the room. It honestly, like, they weren't just going to let that go. You're filming Housewives.
Can I also add to this? In my opinion, they made, and they always do this, bravo, shady editing, they made it look like Lisa was storming off the set. I'm done. And really, they were all taking a break, and she went in and she told production that she felt like they did this on purpose to her.
Truth dump.
Yes.
It was a shade. Thank you. I appreciate that. Truth dump. Yes, she had a truth dump.
Lisa is sitting there, and she tried having 2 conversations with Meredith, and she's sitting there, repeating, listen, I was there for you. I've always been there for you. I swear I was there for you. Somebody told me that you called my house ugly and my renovations ugly. And Meredith's like, what? She said, we're not supposed to be having this conversation off camera. I'm not going to do that. We're in the middle of filming right now. No, I'm walking away. I'm disengaging. And Lisa's like, okay, Meredith, that's fine. And when she walks away, and Lisa is trying to take control over this, that way she's not left alone on the couch with everyone attacking her. She needs Meredith on her side. And if you see, Andy kind of gave them the space. He's like, you guys, we're going to break. And he gets up and walks away when he sees them talking to each other. And you know that he knows you guys are mic'd. The cameras are still rolling. Do whatever you want. I'm going to give you guys the space to have your conversation because we're going to add this into the reunion.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. But
God, Bravo is so shady. But it wouldn't even put it past me though. No, that I'm being very conspiracy here. If like Lisa and Meredith had something planned this whole time because they're such great friends. But I just always think, like, do housewives sit down and like go through like a storyline together and like create these like fights and cycles that we watch? But no, that would be giving them too much credit. So I'm not going to do that.
Right.
Whitney says, though, that Lisa had been talking about Meredith to a lot of people throughout the year. Angie, Sarah Jane, who I believe was just on
Dana Wilkes, who just exposed a lot of shit.
Yeah. I haven't listened to it yet. The second part anyways.
Meredith did say, too, the content of the rant is absurd, but the venom and hatred of the delivery is something that Meredith cannot get over. And she was trying to move on. Lisa was trying to move on, and she kept on reminding her, I've been there for you. And Meredith was like, listen, I just saw this footage less than 48 hours ago. So if you think we're going to move on right now, girl, no, it's not happening. And she said, I don't know. I'm still processing. I don't know how or ever we're going to be able to repair this relationship. And to be honest, if it were my family, there's no chance. If I caught you talking about, like, if I caught one of my best friends and they were in an audio rant and just trashing Jason and I like that, and our family calling us fake, saying that we've effed everybody in Florida, California, New York, whatever, and just going on this having this moment, I would be afraid to be friends with somebody like that, because I would think in my head, if you're capable of putting that on national television, what else are you capable of? Again,
I mean, Meredith is right there a little bit too. This is your really close friend. And it really, to me, I always say it's not what you say, it's how you say it. And the how that Lisa used to say those things was very venomous, I would say, for sure.
Okay. So before I did drop the call-in link, and I see Joe Mendoza and Trish Phillips. I do want to bring up some opinions for sure. And I miss you guys. So hi. Before we do, one last thing that Andy wanted to touch on was how Meredith threatened to expose the other women and their extramarital affairs. The rumor about Meredith and Jen seeing the same guy at some point gets brought up, and Meredith shuts it down, stating that she has only dated her husband for the last 2 years. And Jen looked, and she was just like, I don't know where that came from. But we'll have
Meredith was making quite a few threats there. Like, I have information. If you have it and you're saying that at a reunion, I would expect to get some of that information. Don't say that and just hold back. I
think that she's honestly too good of I think she's, just from meeting her, she's such a sweetheart that I think that she really, all she's trying to tell them is stop coming for me. Stop talking about my father. Stop talking about my son on Twitter. Stop talking about my family. Stop talking about my marriage. Stop talking about relationships. She's letting them know. She's like, I have, a lot in the vault. Please, I'm asking you nice. Stop coming for me, or else I'm going to open this vault.
Right. And again, I hate to say that. I'm going to say, like I said, for Mary, you're a housewife. So this is what comes with it. And so, yeah, they're going to be coming for you after this season 2. So if you're signing up for season 3, expect that. I do have something to ask you about, though. I really do, and I don't know if this is and the live chat too, because I'm curious. I love all of the ladies. I think they make for great television. I feel like we got gypped on a few episodes this season. However, I like Heather a lot during the season. But I was thinking back to last year's reunion and this year's reunion, and I just have a disdain for Heather at the reunion. I don't know what it is. Like every time she opens her mouth, she's like this nasty girl. She's not the Heather we saw the whole season. Like,
Right.
where's that coming from? It's like you guys are trying to stir up shit now, but what happened the rest of the season? Like, because you were kind of, you know what I mean? Like, she's nice Heather there, but then when we get to the reunion, we see a different Heather.
I mean,
did you notice that at all, or is that just me?
They're told that they have to bring it at the reunion, so she's like, "Okay, I have to bring it. I'm going to bring it." I mean, I don't know. All right, well, we have some callers. Before I bring up the callers, this is our cast for season 3, just so you guys get familiar. Obviously, we have Jen, Whitney, Meredith. We have Lisa Barlow, Heather Gay, a newbie named Angie. And I also have to, I believe her name is Tina Edwards. Tina, at the very bottom, she is a real estate agent. Yep. Yeah. And then Angie owns a boutique. But I am curious about this cast. I hope they can bring the heat. In the meantime, guys, 575 in the room. I see some callers. We're going to go ahead and bring up callers to wrap up the end of this. And I have posted the link in case you guys want to call in. Don't forget to smash that like button. And we are going live right after this at 12:15 with Tisa Tells, who I love. Sorry, Jason, you're not a part of that one. But I love Tisa Tells, and I can't wait to talk about Candy and the gang. Let's bring up our first callers. I'm going to bring them up in twos. Hi, Joe. Hi, Trish.
Good morning.
Hi, guys.
Good morning.
Hello. Good morning.
Joe, you and your cameos, I cannot.
What?
Yeah.
They were nice. You
I'm afraid the next one is going to be like, I need a strip tease on a Whitney pole.
Do you know he made Zach rap?
That was a good rap.
No, I gave Zach options. He could either cover a song or create his own original song. He decided to do a rap, and that rap was fabulous.
It was fantastic.
Oh
I love it. I love it. All right. Well, Trish, since you were in the room first, we're going to start with you. What were your thoughts on last night's part 2 of the reunion, and what was the biggest shock factor for you out of last night's episode?
I don't know that anything shocked me. I guess maybe, two things. The fancy white reading glasses. I could tell that Lisa did not get those from CVS. And the bottom, I was so obsessed with the bottom of Meredith Mark's shoes, her red bottom shoes that were all scuffed up and may or may not have a tag on them. I'm not sure. Trish, it looked like it was just scuffed.
Listen, I thought so too the first 2 times, but Lisa and Meredith are both kind of guilty of this because this happened on the last reunion as well when there was tags on the bottom of shoes. Potomac also very guilty there.
In Miami.
I get the scuffs. I can tell the scuffs, but on Meredith, it almost looked like it was like a security tag or I don't know what it was. Just something was on there, and I was like, I didn't look like a scuff.
So Jen distracting.
Do they put tags like that on the bottom of red bottoms?
I mean, they shouldn't if they're real.
Did she step on a gum?
No, I don't know, but
whatever parking
anyway,
lot they're at in LA,
pro tip for anybody out there. I saw this on the internet. A little pro tip to protect the bottoms, your red bottom shoes. You cut off a piece of tape, that real like packing tape, and you cut it into the shape of the red bottom shoe, and you put it on the red bottom shoe, and that way it doesn't get all scuffed up. But yeah, I was so distracted by that. Other than that, I don't think I was really surprised. I guess maybe I was surprised that Lisa was trying to pull Meredith aside and apologize again. And I was surprised that Jen Shah clapped back when she said to Lisa, why would it be controversial to say that you like me? And nobody pushed back on that. And I was thinking, well, it might be controversial to say that she likes you because you've been accused of stealing a whole lot of money from old people to fund your lavish lifestyle. I mean, yeah, I would think that would make you a controversial friend. And then the only other thing is, I think your poll said something about will Meredith be able to forgive Lisa eventually? And even if she does, forgive, I don't know how she would ever forget. I would never, ever, ever forget.
No.
I mean, that would be burned into my brain. Kind of like the goodbye, Kyle, that sort of,
That would take our friendship from
prostitution
deep
whore.
friendship to a surface level friendship really, really quick.
Yeah, that's too bad.
I agree.
Too bad.
Joe, what are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, well, at least Trish is a lot nicer. I just wouldn't forgive. Period. Like if I were friends with Lisa for 10 years and purports that we're actually family and sisters, just having that thought, even in blind rage, is not acceptable. I just like in thinking through the friendships that I've had over the years, like I've had falling out with people. I've had not so great ends of friendships, but when I did have them, I never thought those types of things to them. Like I would think about how they have hurt me, but I don't think about vile things against them because that is not how the foundation of our friendship was built to begin with. Unless they just really weren't friends or that deep.
Do you think it was more of a competitive thing? Like, do you think, because when you store stuff like that inside and then it blurts out, it almost seems like you're looking for things to not like about the person because you feel insecure or competitive with the person?
I think Lisa is jealous. I also think that they're not actually like deep friends. I think
that's what I was going to say, Joe, is there's a difference between being socialite friends who see each other once a month at charity events that rich people go to, and you feel like you've been friends for 10 years, but really and truly, you're not, it's not like you go over to her house and hang out every Sunday. It's not like you're the real kind of friend where, when you're hanging by a thread, she brings you a casserole. I think they were probably more society friends.
Yeah, I would equate it to like Denise, Lisa, Rinna.
Yeah.
Really, like they would say, "Oh yeah, we've been friends for 20 years." Like, girl, no.
Well,
right.
It's better than this one, I guess, who's really friends with no one. So
true.
All right.
And like if they were really real friends, like I would think that they would already have developed the type of understanding of what the other person needs, because I think the tie-in across the entire season, they just didn't connect on what the other person expects of them in a friendship. Like like Lisa keeps saying that Meredith isn't backing her up, but as Meredith pointed out, she thought she was backing her up, but maybe in Lisa's mind, she was expecting something else. But I don't even know if that was even articulated to begin with, which makes me question, like, how, like, has that conversation even happened at the beginning of their friendship?
And that's a good point, Joe, because, Lisa kept saying, I was there for you. I was there for you. And Meredith said, I didn't feel it. I didn't feel that you were there for me. So there's a disconnect there.
Yeah, and I also know that Lisa was showing receipts like on Twitter on how on she actually texting Meredith and Heather when their fathers died. But I'm like, well, why are you just showing evidence that you texted them? Like, is your level of friendship with them really just text-based? Or why wouldn't you have called them? It's almost like Lisa Vanderpump saying, like, getting disappointed to Erica because she only sent a note.
Right.
That's not an acceptable, like condolence, offering.
What did you think about Lisa's post last night where she posted that Cameron Williams was on his way to being part of the Utah foster care? They were looking forward here. I have it in front of me, but it says, before Cameron Williams' life was tragically cut short by cancer, Utah foster care looked forward to bringing his expertise and Silicon Slopes connection to the UFC's board. And that was posted on March 3rd, 2022. But then Meredith said that she has the original post where that was not true.
Yeah, no, because when this whole story about Cameron Williams started, like I actually went to the UFC website and trying to like look at all of the board of directors from the previous years. I'm like, okay, well, where's Cameron Williams? I don't see him. Like, okay, well, this must not be true. But then now I think they released something else that they said, oh, yeah, they would have brought him. But Lisa made it sound like during the season that Cameron has always been part of the board, not necessarily like, oh yeah, they're slowly bringing him up to be part of the board, which to me it's like another mischaracterization of the situation that Lisa claims to be truth.
Listen, I agree. Great points from you, Joe, and also Trish. I know that we have a few other callers before we go live here at 12:15, but I did want to say that I miss you guys and I miss doing our morning show. And listen, I can't wait to meet you in person. And thank you for bearing with us over the next month.
And thank you both for that awesome cameo. Keith and I laughed so hard. He thought that maybe that I told you all that he doesn't like the animal, kitty cats. And after my kitty cats passed away and we just had dogs, and he said, no more cats. And so he said, are you telling everybody that I don't like cats and that you want a cat for our anniversary? And it was hilarious. We really, really enjoyed it. So
the honorable likes them on the stack, guys. That's what he likes.
You what?
the honorable Keith likes them on the stack. Right, Trish?
Oh yeah, gosh. He likes a stack of them. That's god.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Thank God he's not home. He would kill me. Oh my god.
Oh my god. Hey, listen, leave it up to Joe. Well, Joe, Trish, thank you so much, and thank you for supporting our cameo. And again, I can't wait to see you guys. But
I'm
excited.
We will be back at 12:15.
We'll see you guys twerk in New York.
No, we won't.
Okay,
we won't.
I will. Give me a few drinks.
Oh god.
Oh god.
Yeah. All right. We'll see you soon,
Bye, guys.
Bye.
All right. I love Trish and Joe. All right. Well, we also have Norma and Krista Marie and Ebony. I saw you pop in, pop out, pop in, pop out. If you want to pop back in, you can. But Phoenix, Arizona said, up and Adam. I'm on my way into the live. Thank you for the update. Have a beautiful, blessed day. Oh, thank you. You too. Let's bring up Norma and Krista Marie to help us end off. Guys, still over 500 plus in the room. Don't forget to smash that like button. And I pinned at the top of the live chat our next live at 12:15. Hi, Norma. Hi, Krista.
Hi, good morning.
If it gets too loud, just let me know, because I've never been out here doing this. So if it's loud behind me, just let me know. Go ahead. Airplane.
Where are you?
Where are
Krista
you?
Marie?
I'm in my yard.
Are you on Survivor?
I'm in my screen house, but the pool house. So I was out in the yard and I'm all dirty. So
where do you live?
Outside.
In Jersey.
Oh.
We're in zone 7 for gardening, but it got so warm today. It's like 75 that I couldn't help it. Or yesterday too. So I started my gardening, took my pool cover off. My husband's going to kill me. Literally took the cover off.
Let's not hope for that.
I was swimming in April though last year. It was the middle of April when I started swimming, and I was at the beach too. So it does get a little bit warmer. But
the thing with the water here is about yesterday. Jason said the ocean is 80. We should jump in. And this morning I looked up and it said 72 to 76, and I'm like,
no, it's not.
That's amazing though. Like
right now, guys. Like
that's
the
cold
water
for you, right?
down here.
Is that cold for you? Oh wow. Yeah.
No. What's cold is the water in LA. You don't want to go to.
Yes.
I mean, listen, the warmest it gets in LA is not even our coldest it gets here. No. So,
well,
I mean, if this works me being out here, I'll just have dirt on my face all summer instead of makeup. So just.
Hey, we like it. Exfoliation.
Yep.
Norma, what were your thoughts on last night's part 2 of the reunion?
I didn't like it. I was bored. I think I didn't even finish it. I just I'm going to bed. See, first of all, I get it West Coast time. So I read everything on Twitter. Then I was obsessed with the bottom of the shoes because Jason said something about that.
Sorry.
No, it's not your fault. But it's the thing is, the one takeaway is, did Lisa do something to Andy? Because there was a lot of shade thrown at her. And he did have those receipts about Meredith being her friend more than her being Meredith's friend. And it's like, you know, they were keeping count, like boom, exhibit A, exhibit B.
That's what they needed. Sorry.
But yeah, but I think it was a little. Now, what happened was, for me, Lisa got caught with her pants down. And this is just my own thinking. Being a mom of boys and being the only woman in my house, you know, if I revert to crying and acting like a little girl, I might get my way, but that's not how I roll. But anyway, that's how I think Lisa rolls. So when she starts crying, me as a woman, it doesn't affect me. But I think that little technique works at home. So the second she's caught, she's like, but I didn't. And she starts building this. So that was my thought on the show. And
I
that
think
was
my mom actually does that. My mom has a house full of all boys, and growing up, when she would start getting upset with us, she would start crying, and we would all stop fighting, and we'd be like, "Oh, Mom, please don't cry." And then she'd go in the room and come back out like 10 minutes later, and she's like, "All right, what do we have going on?" I'm like, "I don't know if you were actually sad or not."
That's me.
Well, that's how that's how we roll. But I guess I do cry sometimes, but no, I think she uses it as a defense mechanism. And I think that there is a deep-seated resentment towards Meredith because Meredith comes clean. You know, she takes accountability. She realizes what she does. And she did try to set her up with that whole Cameron thing, but Meredith doesn't fall for that because from what I've seen from Meredith, she's a stand-up kind of person, and she's not going to do underhanded things towards other people. And she will admit when she's wrong. And I think Lisa does. I like Lisa, believe it or not. I didn't like her last season. Maybe it's after the whole Vita thing with you guys that I kind of fell in love with her. But I think this season, I mean, she really showed her truth. And she sat there saying that she didn't say those things about Meredith. No, I didn't say that. I didn't say that. I mean, yeah.
And back to your point, though, about Andy, I really think that what he was pissed about is you're having conversations off camera all the time. You're admitting to having them. You're sitting here with Meredith on the couch while we're taking breaks, having separate conversations, and that's not what you're supposed to be doing.
Right.
I mean, I feel maybe that's kind of like what Andy is feeling, that tension.
That's true.
I don't know.
Krista, what was your take on all this?
I mean, I agree. Lisa always, when she's caught in wrong, she creates all the noise around her, and everybody's like supposed to be, you know, quiet, and she didn't do this, and we're supposed to believe her, and she thinks that's going to outweigh literally the receipts that everybody had. Meredith made a point to make sure that everybody knew that, yes, Lisa said, I was there for her. I was there for her. I was there for her. And everything that they said and went to her with, which true, it was all receipts to prove their points. Meredith should have never gotten such, whatever they did to her this season was so wrong. And to see her cry like that, and Lisa still have no, like, not even want to, like, just say you're sorry and stop talking. Like, wasn't it Whitney that said stop talking when you're trying to apologize, or just let people? She can even take accountability for her friend's feelings. Like, I literally thought it was amazing, though. I thought it was a 10. I think that it had to be done, and now we can focus on the bigger fish to fry. Like, now we have other stuff we have to work out. We don't have to go back to this and revisit this because you know, Mary's not there, so why are we going to talk about that? The Cameron stuff was extremely important to Lisa to figure out, you know, who Lisa is, because it proved a lot of stuff. Andy said what he had to say. He read that whole truth dump, because that's exactly what, even if they did think she was a whore and all that, Meredith's like, I don't care. That's surfacey to me. It's just the hatred in your voice and how you just flipped on me because you said you think my house is crappy or whatever she said. I mean, that's not a friend, no matter in what sense. That's never been your friend. It's not matter. It doesn't matter what she said. Well, it does, but it wasn't that as bad. Everybody's a bitch. Everybody's a whore, whatever. But to say it with such hatred and to keep going and go for her family, she had to have been holding on to, like, she just doesn't like her. I don't know. There is no excuse for flipping out like that. Like, not like that on camera.
Listen, I agree. And as you guys always know, we love a good whirlwind moment. She comes in, she pops out, she drops about 10 lines, not even maybe 10 words. I'm going to welcome her up really quick to chime in. Because
I should take a page out of Ebony's book.
Hi, Ebony.
Hi, Ebony.
Hi. I just wanted to say this. I thought it was kind of boring too, like Norma said. But it was worth watching. But I think Meredith's kind of boring. So I do want to say this because I know the producers are watching your show. Out of 500 people, they are producers watching. They did an amazing job on the set. And I just want them to know that that set is beautiful. And I hope they step it up for all the other sets because that set was great. That's all I have to say. So have a great one, everyone.
All right, bye, Ebony.
Wow,
Agreed.
that was quick.
Yeah,
I told you, she's a whirlwind. She comes in, she pops out. We love her.
That set was great. I mean, I
Yeah,
thought the
it made me
Miami one
forget-
was good too.
It made me
yeah.
forget about how bad the outfits were, kind of. I mean, I really wasn't even focused on them now. I was like, everything
no.
around them and all those.
Listen, when Meredith got up and tried to walk in that, it looked uncomfortable. When they all tried to walk in their designated costumes, it just looked very uncomfortable.
Don't dress single. I swear, my husband never watches this. He walked in the room and he goes, "Those women are not very attractive."
Oh, I
But
mean,
see, they are on their
honest.
social media. They didn't come reunion. I don't know what anyone was thinking. I don't
They
know
need
who
to take
gave
a
them
page.
this.
They need to take a page from Miami.
Yes.
Miami did it well.
Miami
Yes.
did not come to play with their reunion looks.
Did you guys, real quick, did you guys get my cameo request?
Yeah, didn't we do it?
I think we filled it.
Yeah,
I'm new. I don't know how to do cameo, so it is.
I sat on my bed and I gave you a whole spiel.
Oh yes, because Jason wouldn't let me.
That
listen
sounds
to
awful. That I'm sitting on my bed giving you a cameo. That's not how it was.
I love
You know, it's going to come to bite you on the tip, Jason, tomorrow night.
Norma. I think I missed when I was at Anchor Watch again. I'm like,
It's
when
so
I went
funny.
on to Anchor
I'm
Watch
like-
with you guys, like, oh my god.
Now I'm talking about other things on social media and I get comments like tip, big tip, and I'm like, this people who don't know this probably don't know what we're talking about. So
Norma was cracking me up that day. I was like quietly watching you guys. I was like, oh my god, what did I just walk myself into?
What
Like,
did I
Anchor
just
Watch-
walk into?
Yeah. I'm like, hey
You don't
guys.
have to. You can't skip a beat on Anchor.
I mean, it's
Watch
my kind of talk, but I'm like, I was like, Norma. Oh my gosh.
Well, I will sign off. I love you guys, and much peace and love to everyone. And a big shout out to the mods who are amazing and wonderful and supportive, and to our gang, the Addams family and the Anchor crew, Nauticals, whatever.
Yeah,
Love it.
the naughty yachties.
Love you guys.
We love you, and thank
Love
you so much.
you.
We can't wait to meet you in person.
4 more weeks.
Oh gosh.
And I messed up this weekend. I had a glass of wine. Damn it, because I got to look good for my boys. So, okay, good.
Yeah, I actually put it in the cameo too. You gotta watch that.
I will. Okay, love you guys. Love you, Krista Marie. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, Krista, in order to sign us off real quick, because we're getting ready for our next live, what are you looking forward to for the third part of the reunion?
The Shah stuff and Coach, and hopefully we get more resolve on, how just everything that he knew or didn't know and her case, and maybe she'll have a little bit. I mean, I can say I did not one time get mad at Jen Shah last night, and I'm like, I go hard for her. She said she really didn't I had nothing bad to say about her last night. So I hope that she sticks with this humility. I know, right? Like, hopefully she sticks. She looks like she's a little more like humbled. I don't know, but it just seems she's a lot quieter, and she's just like maybe processing everything now, which she should have done a while ago. But maybe she's processing now, and she's starting to realize time's running out. I've made a mockery of the court, and I need to be a little bit more quiet, because now I think people actually will start to like her if she just stops her stuff, her like antics. Because when she's quiet, she says one thing, she makes sense, and that's it. And you see a real person instead of a show, or like everything she does takes away from how pretty she really is.
I like the real Jen. I like when we see that. I think that is like her.
It makes me feel better, because I was like, oh, I don't really hate her. You know what I mean? Like, I don't really, because I'm like, all right, well, I'm not really that bad of a hatred. I'm not really that hatred in my.
Hey, listen, well, we
I
appreciate
do feel bad when I do that, though, but.
Don't feel bad, Krista. Don't feel bad. But hopefully you'll be back with us this week. We're coming back at 12:15, and then of course Jason has Anchor Watch tomorrow. Then we have Orange County, New Jersey, Miami, Top Chef.
I gotta get on the ball, man. Was it too loud? Could you hear the wind and all that, or no? Because I would do this outside every day when I do my stuff.
A little bit.
Yeah,
but
it's a little bit. It's like, what it's like, just your background and everything. And I know it's not like that, but it looks like you're on Survivor or something.
Really? It's just, I was trying to show you my cat, my outside cat, to show you. I do love animals. See, my kitty's down there. He has like an outside, like, little house and stuff on my face.
Oh, cute. We need
yeah,
that, Adam.
Outside house and the screen house, because they'll follow me all over.
Oh, that's awesome.
And then my
I
yard.
love
I just didn't want it to be last summer it was way too loud out here. And like, I was trying to do everything out here, but I didn't want it to be like drowning out my voice. Even though but it's so windy, and then I have a train and an airport near me, so.
Well, here is the good weather.
Yes, here is to good weather and not to bad weather.
Okay, you're not bad.
Yeah. They even made me more mad than Jen Shah last night.
Gosh. Well, We'll definitely be back on Monday to recap this again. And Krista, thank you. We appreciate you. And we will
I did miss everybody.
Right. Oh, I miss Krista. I miss Georgia, Carolina. Where, I miss everybody on the morning show.
The morning show crew.
Guys. Well, the morning show crew. All right. Well, Jason, with that, if they don't know, will you let them know what you have coming up and where we can find you?
Yeah, you guys can find me at Down with Jason. We do some commentary and some recaps on shows that I like, or really the shows that Adam doesn't cover too. But tomorrow we do our weekly Below Deck chat. We're covering Below Deck sailing right now. Also on Wednesday, I will be on the Gangplank Report podcast to talk about Below Deck sailing with Adrian Gang and Jen, who are on that podcast. And they were so nice to come on mine, so now I have to go on theirs. It's going to be fun to talk about Below Deck, and then we'll be back this week for other fun recaps. Of course, the Real Housewives of Miami reunion part 2 and Top Chef, because I started talking about that for fun, but it seems a lot of people are into it, and I love it. So
definitely. Yeah. All right, guys. And also, if you haven't picked up your tour merch, it is in my community tab. You guys can go pick up your tour merch. We have amazing stuff, each specific to every single city. And if you're not able to make it to any of the cities, yes, we ship internationally, and there is one specific for you too. So go grab your tour merch. We also have more big surprises coming for you on Wednesday regarding Nashville, more of Los Angeles, and then the week after, we're announcing more on New York City. And for the people who are sleeping on Nashville saying, oh no, why did I get those tickets? Trust me, you get ready for this announcement on Wednesday. We love you guys so much. We can't wait to see you soon. I pinned at the top of the live chat. I've said it 500 times. Our live for 12:15 with Tisa Tells to talk about Candy and the Gang, and we will see you then. Bye, guys. We love you. Bye.